This is not an American robin. And this one? It's not a female house sparrow. I'm going to take you step by step through how to identify both from these photographs. But that's just the start. I have 5 more fascinating bird photos from November for us to decode, with a mix of recent and past year's photos. And here's the twist. You won't get to know their names until we've studied their field marks together. Let's start with this recent photo I took in Ajo, Arizona. A chunky body, big head, chisel-shaped bill, pointed tail, large feet, huge claws. You certainly recognize that this bird is a woodpecker. It's a zebra-backed woodpecker with rows of white spots also on the wing coverts. It has a black crown, ear coverts, and malar. Downy and hairy woodpeckers have solid white backs. It's not one of those. Red cockaded woodpecker has an all-white cheek and lives in the southeast, so that's out. The Arizona location should mean this is a ladder-backed woodpecker. But how do we make sure? Ladder-backed and Nuttall's woodpeckers barely overlap in Southern California, and, though unlikely, one might be out of range to Arizona. Note the extensive white on the side of the face with a thin black auricular or ear cover. And also note that the white bars go all the way up the back to the back of the head. This Nuttall's woodpecker shows the larger black ear coverts, making the face mostly black with 2 thin lines of white. Also note that the white bars on the back stop well short of the back of the neck. And do you notice that the underparts are more pure white than on the ladder-backed? What's this pot-bellied bird with the round head in the juniper hills of Southern California? The wings are long and the tail medium-short. The bill is fairly short on the thin side and slightly curved toward the tip. It is very subtly colored. The upper parts are gray. The underparts are just slightly warmer peachy tan. It doesn't have wing bars. The only thing that really stands out is a thin white eye-ring. While there is a hint of sky blue at the base of the tail, and another hint of blue at the bend of the wing. Female indigo or lazuli buntings are close. Lazuli buntings would have 2 broad white wing bars, which this bird lacks, and neither have such a defined white eye-ring. That makes this a female bluebird. Female eastern bluebirds tend to be more orange-colored, all the way up onto the side of the neck, where this bird is gray. And either western or mountain bluebird could be at this location in November. But there's one field mark that proves this is a western bluebird. Let's measure the wing length proportions. Just get a feel of the wing length from the end of the secondary stack to the wingtips, and compare that with the distance from the tip of the primaries to the tip of the tail. Now let's make that same measurement for this mountain bluebird I photographed near Yuma last year. The distance from the secondary stack to the wingtips is very long compared to the little bit of tail projecting past the wingtips. This is an older one of my photos from a little village in the Oregon Coast Range. What's the size of this bird? We know it's small because the body is almost round and the big head is stuck on without an apparent neck. Even though the tail is short, the wings are short as well. The wingtips barely pass the rump. Notice the green wing and tail edges. The bill is short and stout. The bird is grayish olive green. There are 2 white wing bars. There's a broken eye-ring and the lores are pale. Do you think this might be a ruby-crowned kinglet? Look at the legs, thick and blue-gray. And then let's take another look at the bill on the previous image. The thick blue-gray legs and the small hooked tip belong only to vireos. The short tail and 2 white wing bars eliminate the possibility of a far out-of-range Bell's vireo. That makes this bird a Hutton's vireo. Let's further eliminate ruby-crowned kinglet. Take a look at the wing panel just below the greater secondary coverts, where the lower wing bar is. Notice on this bird that the wing is pale gray and the thin, pale wing edges show well. Look at the same area on the kinglet. There's a black band across the base of the secondary feathers just under the white tips of the greater secondary coverts, which form the wing bar. Also note the bill is blunt. The legs are toothpick thin and black, with, notice this, yellow feet. Male ruby-crowned kinglets have red crowns, females don't, but they can hide it unless they're agitated, when they can raise and expose those bright crown feathers. If I didn't tell you this wasn't a female house sparrow, would you have even taken a second look? It sure looks like a house sparrow, pot-bellied, short tail, wide head, and big seed-eating bill. It has a solid gray crown, brown back with blackish stripes, dingy underparts. Chestnut median wing coverts, the bill is pale, there's a pale eyebrow stripe. Hops on the ground, that's all good for house sparrow. And when this bird shows up as a vagrant, it is often in house sparrow flocks. Unlike a female house sparrow, the face is more patterned. There is a slightly darker ear covert with a pale malar and a thin dark lateral throat stripe, offsetting a white throat. The chestnut on the wing coverts is a male house sparrow trait, though not female. It's that hint of yellow in the eyebrow and malar, and sometimes the upper chest, that gives it away as a Dickcissel. This can be really faint, though, on some immature female Dickcissels. This prairie nesting species of the Great Plains and Mississippi Valley is a vagrant fall visitor to bird feeders both in the east and west, and regular in low numbers in the southwest. For comparison, you can see that this female house sparrow is a plainer-faced bird. If you ignore house sparrows at your feeder, you may be missing a rare prize. Sometimes you have to study the common everyday birds and really know what they look like in order to recognize a similar but rare bird. And that admonition also goes for this bird. It looks like an American robin. It's a well-formed bird, long tail in line with the back, head is smaller compared to the body, so not a tiny bird. Alert, heads-up posture, standing on ground. Fairly sturdy legs. Bill fairly long, pointed, slightly curved on the upper mandible. A typical robin. Gray head, wings, tail, rufous breast, white throat with black streaks, white undertail coverts. So why isn't this an American robin? There's something odd about the face, isn't there? This bird has an all-gray head and face with a very thin orange eye ring. That's not right for American robin. They have some kind of broken white eye ring, don't they? Indeed they do. American robins have a broken eye ring with an additional white spot in front and above the eye. And this bird has a rufous back too. American robins have a gray back. That makes this bird a rufous-backed robin. That identification is strengthened by the all-white undertail coverts, and the white between the legs goes quite a ways up the center of the belly. This is a rare fall visitor to southern Arizona, but it's a species that might be overlooked by birders who haven't spent time really looking at the common American robin. Here's the American robin we all know. Look, really look. The eye ring is broken in back, and in front it's almost as if a third of it is missing. The white spot in front of the eye is not strong in this individual. The black streaking stays on the throat, while in the rufous-backed robin, it entered the upper breast. The vent is white, but it doesn't extend very far in front of the legs. And can you see the black streaks on the white undertail coverts? All white on the rufous-backed robin. And of course, all gray back and wing coverts. Finally, male American robins have a darker head than females. Were you surprised by any of these marks? Let's visit the Southern California beaches for this next identification challenge. Here's a fairly big-bodied bird with short legs, webbed feet, very long wings, a ragged crest off the back of the neck, and a long, thin spike of a bill. Since the bill doesn't have a hook, it's a tern and not a gull. The body is white and the back and wings are pale silvery. There are a couple of black outer primaries. The bill is long, thin, sharp-pointed, orange near the base and more yellowish toward the tip. The legs are black. The crest has long feathers off the back of the head, and it starts encircling the eye. Let's take a closer look. In breeding plumage, most similar terns have full black caps. But this is November, so these birds are in full non-breeding plumage, not the halfway look of late summer. The black crest definitely encloses the eye. The bill is quite a bit longer than the head. It seems to droop down toward the tip. That makes this bird elegant tern. Let's look at the very similar royal tern. Same date and location. The crown is wider. The crest starts behind the eye. There's a white break between the crest and eye, and the crest feathers are shorter and straighter. The bill is bigger, thicker, and all darker orange, but is only as long as the head, not conspicuously longer. And here they are together. When they're like this, they are easier to tell apart. Royal is bigger than elegant, but this size difference is not obvious when there is only one species present. These two terns are between Forster's and Caspian in size. What I see is that the royal ternbill and the elegant ternbill are almost exactly the same length, though the royal ternbill is thicker. However, the head of royal tern is huge, while the head of elegant tern is much smaller. That makes the bill of elegant tern look much longer. And these are typical and diagnostic views of the crest. Elegant terns are found in Southern California from mid-March into November, so these were on the late side. The royal tern was formerly more common in late fall and winter, but now seems to be present year-round along the Southern California coast. Here's a recent photo from my hometown in Ajo, Arizona. You no doubt recognize that this stocky bird with big head and pointed bill clinging to the side of a palm tree is a woodpecker. This is a blackish woodpecker with a green sheen. It has a gray breast and neck collar. It has a pink belly. The face is dark red. There's not much else that looks like this. It's a Lewis's woodpecker. But there is another woodpecker of about the same size, shape, and behavior that it could be mistaken for. And that's the acorn woodpecker, another western species. Both of these woodpeckers may be seen high up on trees, backlit against the sky. In this case, both woodpeckers look mostly all dark. And they may flycatch from the top of telephone poles too. Acorn prefer oak, Lewis's prefer pine. Both are found in pine oak, and these photos were of out-of-range birds on palm trees. What identification here was most surprising? Leave a comment. And please come back for next month's photo identification video. Thank you so much for watching.